Welcome back to 100 Hours in Terraria Hardcore, and of course, we're playing on Master Mode. If you haven't seen the previous videos, welcome to the 100 Hours in Hardcore Challenge, where different stages of Terraria's progression are locked behind 10-hour increments. In the last 10 hours, I could beat the Wall of Fresh and Queen Slime, and now I'm allowed to fight all of the mech bosses. Otherwise, I can make no other form of progression. It's just now occurring to me that I'm not even halfway through this challenge. I should have double-checked how I sorted the bosses and events, because assuming I make it to late game, I'm going to have literally nothing to do but fight a boss or two, so maybe I will end up doing some builds near the end of this thing. I don't know. And I still can't get over how this whole thing has been stretching what to do in Terraria in a way that my 1-year challenge never did. I didn't ask for this. Well, I guess I did by making the series in the first place, but I wasn't supposed to actually survive this long, okay? I should have died forever ago. A slime rain even started, and you think that's a threat to me anymore, game? I don't think so. Did I have any real reason to go out and kill the slimes, the Summoning King slime, at all? No, I didn't, but I was able to add a relic to the collection, and nobody can stop me from collecting all the many shiny things. Plus, every relic makes number go up, so I'm going to kill it, all right? I'm so happy I decided to organize the thing by the order they were killed rather than grouping them together. It's so much more satisfying to look at. Now, in previous installments, I might have waited a little bit before actually fighting a boss. Maybe I do some prep or have some extra grinding to do to make sure that I'm all good to go, but I've had so much time in those previous installments that I already have a massive arena and potions ready to go. In fact, I slept to fast forward to the night so I could fight Skeletron Prime right away. So here we go, straight into the first of the mechs of 100 Hours in Hardcore. The one I believe is the easiest, and yet the one that also probably stands the greatest chance of actually killing me.
Hey, here we go. We got this, easy money. Skeletron's weak. He's a weakling. Skeletron Prime got nothing. He got nothing. No! All right, we're just. I can't believe I was able to take that many hits. I need to just get rid of this minecart. It's all together. Get rid of it. Nope.
And this, dear viewer, is why you never have minecart tracks anywhere near your arena. At least, not when you intend to use a mount of any kind. In a previous episode, I even talked about how I was adjusting where the minecart track was so I wouldn't run into this issue with accidentally mounting a minecart on the track, and, well, that's exactly what happened. And so Skeletron Prime falls. I was really hoping I'd avoid the whole heart attack involved with it, but that's fine, and my head is spinning. Never keep a minecart track next to the arena, no matter what. Lesson learned. Now, the night wasn't over yet, and I am all about maximizing the use of my potions, so I hurried to spawn our next mech boss, the twins.
Oh, there's a rat. I was like, wait a minute, is rat just not going to spawn at all? Yeah. Oh, I love the unicorn. It's so good. Okay, it's about to transform. There it is. Oh, we're cutting it close here. Come on, die faster. 1 in-game hour left. Come on. Almost. I'm not feeling confident. Come on. Oh, I've lost most of my potions too. Okay, we got one. Come on, die. Nah, I don't have enough time. Ah, it's unfortunate.
Well, and that sucks. In a way, that's actually the first time I've lost to a boss this run, and it's kind of weird saying that I've lost to a boss in a hardcore run, but I suppose truly losing would require dying. In fact, I did win that battle. The twins were just so scared of me they ran away, so I'm going to call myself the winner even if I wasn't rewarded with loot for my trouble. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe. At the end of the year, I'll be firing 1 mini nuke 2 from this rocket launcher at year's end for every subscriber I have. So if you want to claim your mini nuke 2 and support long-form challenges like this, consider subscribing. I did immediately remove all the minecart tracks around the arena after that though. There's still tracks to the sides of it, but considering the size of the arena, having them over there shouldn't be an issue. With Skeletron Prime defeated, I was able to make the flamethrower, one of my personal favorite weapons, and I was eager to get the Unreal modifier on it, but the flamethrower is stupidly expensive to reforge. It's giving me flashbacks to the several platinum sunk into the knight's edge, so I settled for the deadly modifier and slept to the next night. This time I plan on fighting the Destroyer first. He's most often the boss that takes the least time to kill, so summoning him first would allow me to make an easier decision as to whether I want to fight another boss in the same night. And so, it's time to fight the third mech boss, the big ol' mechanical worm.
Here we go. Take it down. Take it down. Yes. That was good. All right, watch the head. Watch the head. Go through my NPCs, which isn't ideal, but don't have to deal with it. Lots of damage there. Here we go. Oh, this is just easy. I'm not even taking damage. There we go. Nice. I killed him so fast I summoned him again, and this whole time I've been finding this whole situation a little curious. I remember I used to create dirt boxes in the sky with a few platforms, and the dirt box would stop lasers while the platforms would let me shoot at the worm beneath me. The dirt box also made it so probes would have to get close enough to whack with the sword for them to do damage. This was the old go-to strategy for me because I didn't see any other way to deal with the Destroyer's massive array of lasers, but now he's a joke. Even if every single laser he shot actually landed, I'd be dealt next to no damage. Sure, I'm using every conceivable potion to my advantage, but still, not only are the lasers easier to dodge than I remember back then, but they're also doing less damage. But because we all know Terraria can hear your every thought, the game decided to teach me a very valuable lesson. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, the head. The head will kill you. Other than that, it's fine, but the head, oh my goodness. And so the Destroyer fell, and I summoned it for the third time with a healthy fear of being hit by the head. When that one fell, there was not much night left, but I figured why not and summoned the worm a fourth time, with it turning to day, having done barely half his health. I'm getting a little greedy here when it comes to collecting these hollowed bars and souls, but hey, I got plenty of supplies to fund my greedy wastefulness. I also discovered cursed darts are even more effective when dodging between a relatively small area and shooting the darts at a small angle upwards. You get a lot more of the cursed droppings, or whatever you want to call them, to actually hit the worm. It's pretty effective. With this treasure trove of hollow bars, I of course made the armor, but was curious if there was something I might not be aware of. I handed the bars to the guide, and this reminded me of the Super Star Shooter. It's a little impractical, and it's typically best against the Destroyer, who's the mech I need to farm the least at this point, but hey, why not see how it performs against the other two? I got stars to spare. I slept to the next night and summoned the twins. I started shooting the Star Shooter, but thought it would make more sense to save it for when the eyes line up. Sometimes I could get them when they were, and it was quite effective when they did, but it was also pretty effective against a single target, at least reasonably so, I think. Was it so effective that I wouldn't use other options that don't require stars or ammunition? Not really. No matter how much time I spend on any world, I never have as many stars as I'd like for this weapon. I do suppose, though, I wouldn't burn through them nearly as fast if I actually had the Ranger armor set instead of the melee one, but I ain't lowering my defense. No way, Jose. The twins are often the mech I say is the hardest for me, but when equipped with the unicorn mount, bundle of balloons, and ice wings, I have more mobility than I could ever need. I'm sure there's plenty of people who think the twins are the easiest, even with a whole lot less mobility than I have. Not sure how that's the case. You wizards, how do you dodge this thing like that? The twins died, so I made a rainbow rod, optic staff, and the hollowed pickaxe. This brings us to the chlorophyte mining and life fruit farming sessions, which are so much more deadly and hardcore. I often mine the stuff without a care in the world in a normal run, but this is no normal run. I can't casually mine chlorophyte without
constantly watching my back for a turtle to come flying off the screen or a moss hornet stinger to hit me several times in rapid succession. On top of the typical grinding, I also needed feral claws to craft the fire gauntlet, and apparently I hadn't got those things earlier in the run. There was a chest next to the arena I hadn't looted somehow, but it was an anklet to win, not feral claws, which was unfortunate. So I mined and made my way through this dangerous jungle, needing to seek out new places and search for these feral claws while mining anything I found along the way. But my fear of the enemies down here was proven to be well-founded.
You're a kid.
I wasn't sure of it at the time, but looking back at the footage, you can see that the turtle did 409 damage exactly. I currently have 410 health. That turtle literally brought me down to 1. If I had taken any damage by anything at any time before that, I would have died. I can hardly believe how lucky I am to still be playing right now. If I hadn't found those 2 life fruit, if I had walked into those jungle thorn things, if any factor had changed, I have been taking this way too lightly. Not been treating this exploration with the level of caution it requires. So of course, I kept on doing the exact same thing until I figured out I should take a break and craft chlorophyte armor while I can. Well, that was the plan at least, but I hadn't actually gathered enough chlorophyte for armor, so I made the true hollowed sword instead. The sword reminds me that I need more souls of fright and sight if I'm going to make the True Knight's Edge, so after having been scared by the jungle, I figured I'd farm Skeletron Prime, and by farm that I mean kill it exactly once. The knight was just about exactly halfway over when he died, and I did seriously consider summoning him again, but then I remembered, he one-shots you when it turns the day, and I wasn't going to risk being just a little too slow. So instead, I went to the Tundra to farm for wolves. I was hoping to get the Lilith's necklace in the last 10 hours and never did, so I was hoping I could get one now, but none dropped. It's really too bad. The Lilith's necklace is, no joke, a good mount? I call them transformations. It's a transformation, whatever. It's faster than Terraspark boots, not nearly as fast as the unicorn mount, but it also benefits from all the extra jumps the bundle of balloons gives you, which is the same for the unicorn, but the wolf has... it turns around better acceleration. I don't know. It's great for all around usage, so long as you don't rely on wings.
Solar eclipse over. Oh, right. It's a lesser one. Okay. There's nothing good that they drop, is there?
There isn't much that these enemies drop, but that didn't stop me from farming the event. I will absolutely want to farm the Eclipse after Golem dies because I need to kill Mothron for the Broken Hero Sword. By farming the Eclipse now, I will be able to gather banners and make the later Eclipses just a little safer. There will be other new enemies that'll pose a large threat, but this will at the very least reduce the likelihood that I'll die. These enemies do drop moonstones and that one something shell, whatever it is. For some reason, there's also a bunch of paintings that drop from these enemies. Why so many paintings from the solar eclipse? There's also the death sickle, which can be a useful weapon, especially as a person running melee, so I might as well use it, right? With that business done, I went to mine more chlorophyte, but this time I loaded up on all kinds of potions to make the whole endeavor that much less terrifying. I crafted full chlorophyte armor and killed Skeletron Prime once more for good measure. Now I'll have enough souls for the True Knight's Edge and whatever else I might want. I farmed in the jungle arena a bit in an effort to get some turtle shells. Underground isn't the best place to farm for those, but I got banners here and I figured they'd be helpful. I also stumbled across a Plantera bulb right next to the arena, so I guess now I know where I'm going after these 10 hours end. When I went home, I was reminded of the Tavern Keep. I had farmed for all the defender medals needed to purchase the second tier staff, which I did, but I was wondering if it makes sense to purchase one of the armor sets to replace my chlorophyte one. I don't think it gives nearly as much an increase to melee damage, but does add to movement speed and summon damage, which could be nice, but I decided to save the medals for Valhalla armor, which is 3rd tier. Of course, that'd mean I'd have to actually fight tier 2 Old One's army though. Not sure I'm actually brave enough to do that, but I'll save the medals in case I want to later. If I don't, then I'll at least have the medals to maybe buy the 3rd tier staff or something. This is also the point I finally replaced my bundle of balloons, choosing the Berserker's Glove instead. It gives me extra defense and a few offensive buffs. This reminds me I actually had one pair of Feral Claws earlier, but needed a second one since I want these gloves and the Fire Gauntlet, and I wasn't able to make the Berserker Glove earlier due to a lack of Titan Glove. I guess that clears things up. But I got it now, so that's great. Sucks I lost some mobility, but I think the extra defense and damage will more than compensate for that. And now, with all the time I've spent in the jungle, I have managed to collect 2 turtle shells, and so I stopped by the surface of the jungle to farm for 1 more shell. I still have mixed feelings about turtle armor. It's great and all for defense, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't give you that much of an increase in defense, and I will no longer have an amazing crystal over my head doing insane damage. It definitely leans more heavily into tank, and overall I think I'd prefer melee chlorophyte armor, but as this is hardcore, I'll stick with increasing my defense whenever I can. This is one thing about the armor I don't understand though. Its set bonus says that attackers take double damage. What does that mean? What is considered an attacker? Are all enemies attackers since this is single player? This armor is meant to make enemies aggro on me, but that only really has an effect in multiplayer, so does the armor make it so I deal double damage when I'm targeted over my friends? How does this impact single player? Do I have to get hit first and then I deal double damage? I did some testing in the jungle, but it was inconclusive at best, and I wasn't going to really dive into testing it out in a hardcore run. I'll leave that up to people like Terraria to figure out. What's an attacker, and does my damage truly double? Back to things I do understand, I spent the next 10 minutes roaming around the jungle gathering extra chlorophyte, as I'll need them for chlorophyte bullets at some point. Gathering enough life fruit to reach full health and stumbling upon another pair of feral claws was also very handy, and I immediately crafted the fire gauntlet, which leaves a rather big decision to make. What does the fire gauntlet replace? It gives me such a big buff where damage is concerned, but survivability is obviously the main objective here. I considered replacing the Star Veil, but the increased invincibility has saved me a few times. What I haven't needed as of yet, though, is the decreased cooldown of the Charm of Mitts, so I nervously switched the two and tested it out in the jungle. Gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the damage output. Now, what else is there to do with my time? Well, there are the pirates, and I still haven't broken any Crimson Altars, and I think I'll actually avoid breaking them. No need to add a bunch of harder ores to mine in the world, or give the pirates a chance to spawn all on their own. Instead, I'm just going to farm for a pirate map to spawn them on my time. I farmed for about 20 minutes, but had no luck. Shark kite! Shark kite! Woo! Woo! Oh. Woohoo! Shark kite! This is what I want to do for the rest of my time now. Woohoo! Sharky, 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 sharky. Sharky, 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 sharky. Whee! I spent some time in the underworld to kill red devils for the magic trident thingy, but wasn't able to get one, and perhaps that's for the better. Red devils are dangerous. I farmed in the Crimson a while for a Crimson key, but didn't get one, and then farmed another Eclipse for extra banners. The Eclipse came to an end, and so I farmed in the Tundra for a bit to get that Lilith's necklace, but still had no luck. There were ice golems though, which doesn't really help anything. They're just dangerous. All this farming had me thinking about what I was going to do in the next 10 hours, and I realized I still haven't actually found the jungle temple. That's kind of important, but the temple is generally pretty easy to find. Just go to the lower third of the world and start mining in a horizontal line anywhere you haven't searched yet. It should be there somewhere, and sure enough it was. Funny thing is that a jungle temple chest was on this side of the door, so I was able to get some loot. And well, when you got nothing better to do, the Old One's army, it starts looking pretty tempting. Is this the single stupidest thing I've ever done? Perhaps. It is Tier 2 Old One's army though, not Tier 3, which has killed me many times in the past. Tier 2 is so short-lived compared to the others. What with it being behind the mechs, but before, what is it, Golem? That's just such a small window, so I feel nobody ever does second tier army unless you specifically intend to, or are slowing down like I am. I had farmed a bunch of banners in earlier parts of the run, and so had no concerns about the waves, just the ogre at the final boss wave. Get too close to one and it'll swipe you with its club and do serious damage. It has a stomping attack that, at best, has a strange hit radius. It'll hurt you from quite a ways up above the stomp. It's actually kind of dumb. It also throws some spit at you that is the single worst slowness debuff in the game. All of this in mind, I was still able to kill 2 ogres and clear the second tier Old One's army without coming too close to death. The Octopod just makes no sense to me as a weapon. It's got great knockback, sure, but so little range, I wouldn't trust it. I still don't know enemies quite well enough to guess how they'll react to knockback. Run into a turtle with this thing and will it fly away or spin directly into my face? I don't know. The Ghostly Glaive, on the other hand, was actually tempting for a second. Its ability to target and attack other enemies in the vicinity is handy, but the Death Sickle already has some of that functionality covered while doing similar if not greater damage, and of course, the True Hollow Sword is a better true melee weapon, so if the Ghastly Glaive did some 5 more damage, I might actually use it, but in this state, nah. A clown spawned with the Blood Moon and all clowns must die, and then I headed to the Tundra to farm wolves, but once again, didn't get the Lilith's necklace. I did get a KO cannon though, and this god tier weapon will absolutely bring me to the end of the game.
KO cannon for the win! KO cannon. Nobody uses that weapon unironically. Why does it even exist?
I farmed for a Crimson Key, but farming for biome chest keys is no better than trying to win the lottery by buying more tickets, and then I remembered booster tracks existed, and so I replaced the ends of my minecart tracks with those. The glowing mushroom I had started had fully spread, so I made a quick house, but when the truffle spawned, he wasn't selling the auto hammer, which has me puzzled. I thought he sold this immediately. I guess it's after Plantera or Golem or something? I never remember to make this guy's house earlier in the game, so I got no idea. The Crimson has been annoying me with how corrupt the Tundra is. The Tundra is probably beyond helping at this point, at least beyond safe help. So I finally decided to blow up a hole to separate the Crimson from the rest of the world. I'm not even halfway through this challenge, so another 50 hours of Crimson spread could easily wreak havoc on this world. I didn't do this earlier because I didn't feel safe, but with my current setup and a calming potion, I was able to handle the project without running into any issues. I've also been trying to get a Nimbus Rod this whole time, but the gosh darn clouds won't drop one every time I go farming in the rain. This time I did farm for them in the hollow though, so I was able to kill some rainbow slimes, and every time I see one, I have one of those, oh yeah, those are in the game moments, which is fun. The rain stopped and still no Nimbus Rod, so I figured I'd return to pirate map farming. I brought a bunch of battle and gills potions ready for a long farming session, but 2 seconds after drinking them,
Oh, come on! I came here to farm for a pirate map, and the very first one, right after I drink potions and all that.
Is that good luck? Bad luck? Now these potions are just going to go to waste. Well, I've gotten the whole reason I farm for them, so whatever. I summoned the pirates and am reminded why Relogic added the pirate captain ghost. Not a single enemy in this whole event can attack through walls, and there was a time you could put yourself in a box and beat the entire event from within that box, from the moment that you enter hard mode. The pirate captain's ghost isn't even that dangerous, but it does prevent AFK farming. I think some people had a problem with it because they liked AFK farming the pirates, but I don't know, the event has too simple a solution in my opinion. It needed something to mix up the threat level. That's not to say the pirates were dangerous in any way though. I just hid behind a wall and spammed the scythe till everything died, and then had to head outside to finish off the Jolly Roger. None of them spawned until the very end of the event, which is kind of crazy, but at least I got a relic to add to the collection. I even added another layer of platform since we're going to need them very soon. And so, unsure what more farming could be done, I decided to actually build something. Another reason I've been hesitant to build is because I don't want any of my buildings to get in the way of my massive arenas, so this one I built in space where the wyverns hang out. I also love Sky Island, so I thought it was worth it. The idea for this build is pretty simple. I wanted the Sky Island, but for it to include mud, not dirt. Wasn't sure if I was going to go for a jungle or a glowing mushroom, but I got a cool looking mud base, said hello to a wyvern, and then made a simple house, topping it off with a layer of mud. I added doors, filled in the walls, and used mudstone bricks to add texture. I also settled on making it a jungle Sky Island. Not sure if enemies will spawn up here, but at least it'll be in space, so theoretically they won't be an issue. A solar eclipse happened during all of this, so I guess farming extra banners will give the jungle seed time to spread. I already have all the banners, but I want to get more and spread them around the arena. Dodging Mothron requires some movement, so I wanted to cover the whole place just to be safe. Now earlier I had tried farming for an ice tortoise shell. I think that was last episode and not this one. Wait, what have I been doing for these 10 hours again? I can't remember anything. Anyways, Crimson Tundra is no fun because of those big enemies, but I really wanted this ice tortoise shell for the next 10 hours. Once Plantera is dead, the Ankh shield loses a bit of its value, and I want to get a paladin shield and combine it with the ice tortoise shell. So I headed into the tundra, blew up an open area, and got to work on setting up a farm when an ice tortoise dropped a shell out of the blue. So I guess I'm done now. Didn't even finish the arena or farm, whatever. What I do know I did earlier in these 10 hours was beat the Old One's army, but I don't have quite enough for full Valhalla and 3rd tier staff. I need 260, I believe, but farming second tier is so much less painful than first tier because you get 25 defender medals instead of a lousy 5, and I guess I already did the earlier farming and didn't hardly use any of it, so that gave me a head start. I took a short break after winning a few times to collect truffle worms, and I'm not sure why I decided to do that. Duke Fishron isn't in the next 10 hours, that's Plantera and Golem, and after them are the 2 moon events, and it's only after that, in hours 70 to 80, that I can fight Duke Fishron. I'm being way too optimistic here. Before getting back to the Old One's army, I farmed Black Recluses for Spider Fangs to make the Queen's Spider Sentry. It's basically a free 2 extra sentries for the event, and the last few times I tried, I had lost one and barely won the other. Somehow the first time I beat these events is always easier than every attempt after. This happened with the 1 year series too. It boggles my mind. I have been boggled. I am happy to report though that those staves on top of a metric ton of potions made the event much easier to defeat, and I got all the defender medals I'll need. The Jungle Sky Island is looking great, but tortoises are spawning here, so that's just fantastic. Speaking of the jungle, I figured it'd be nice to make a elevator down to the jungle temple. It just so happened, though, that a hive was in the way, and as I got close to check where the larva was, a bee hit me, and stars from my star veil broke it.
I should be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Be fine. I shouldn't be panicking about queen bees spawning, but man, did that make me jump.
No joke, I was actually thinking that might end the run. Queen bee at this point in progression, yeah, sure she was going to end the run. I'm stressed. All right, I've come this far. I can't afford for it all to end. No way, I'm restarting. In the final hour, I was feeling a little goofy, so I fished for a bunch just to collect crates so I could stack them. I just like stacking crates. It did make me curious though. Toilets are good for giving you extra fishing power, but I have Chippy's couch. I wonder if it will increase my fishing power. The answer is no. So I added it somewhere at the base.
Wait, you can put it on a planter? Yes, this is where it belongs. For sure. Oh, transitioning seats. Oh. Wait. Wait, how many people can you fit on Chippy's couch? Hold up. Am I sitting on it right now? Am I sitting like on the arm? You need like 5 people on this? No, it's just 3. Okay, no. I'm thinking that you're sitting on like the arm of the couch. And like, that would give a 5th. Imagine you get 5 people sitting on this couch. I need to get some people together. We all sit on the Chippy's couch, see how many we can fit.
I did some searching for other Plantera bulbs, as I'm sure I'll want to kill the plant a few times, and then finished up with more crates. But that wraps up the first 50 hours and 100 hours of hardcore. We've literally come 1 health away from death, and the next 10 hours will include hard mode dungeon, which we'll have to treat with extra care, especially since it looks like a bunch of the wall is the kind of wall where snipers spawn, and one of those nearly ended my first hardcore victory in a single shot, just like the tortoise had earlier in these 10 hours.